Wow. When you get to be my age, you wind up taking more and more prescription medications. I'm starting to wonder how I'm going to afford these. They're pretty damned expensive. Wait! I know! I can go to an online Canadian pharmacy. They'll be able to get me all sorts of medications real cheap. Let's see if I can find one on Google. Well, let's see. What have we here? Canadian Pharmacy, northwestpharmacy.com. Well, that looks pretty nice. Oh, top 10 reasons, certified by a bunch of people. And look here, 230,000 real customer reviews, unlike any other online pharmacy. This has to be a legitimate place. Wait a minute. My science senses are tingling. I wonder if this place has ever been investigated by the FDA for anything. What say we look into that, Well, this is interesting. It seems that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration did issue a warning letter to this Northwest Pharmacy back in 2012. Little tiny things such as misbranded drugs and unapproved drugs. They're even trying to sell a compound that is potentially dangerous when administered due to its teratogenicity. That, by the way, means that it causes some very, very serious birth defects. Now, here's another nugget of information. I did a search on that particular website, northwestpharmacy.com, and I saw that, interestingly enough, the registration information is hidden. It goes to a privacy center. Now, call me crazy, but I can't figure out why a legitimate business would need to put their registration information through an anonymizer. I don't know if I'm very comfortable with that website. Maybe we better try another one. Well, since we didn't like that web page, let's go down to the next one. We have canadadrugs.com. Let's click on this one and see what it looks like. Well, it's a pretty web page, that's for sure. We got an 800 number. You can get an account on it. Let's see what drugs they have available. Let's scroll down here a little bit. We've got Narcan, we got naloxone, but let's make sure the FDA hasn't given these guys a warning letter. Oh, well, what do you know? They have. And it looks like this warning letter is for the same things: misbranded drug, unapproved new drugs. For an example, these guys were selling Viagra and Levitra, neither of which were Viagra or Levitra. It might have been anything. They were also selling something called domperidone, which, despite its name, is not an expensive champagne. It is a drug that is not approved for any human use in the United States. Now, in the interest of fairness, these warning letters came out in 2012. That was 5 years ago. And I think we can all agree that somebody who was willing to engage in criminal behavior 5 years ago probably has straightened out, having gotten a nasty note from the FDA. By the way, that warning letter also called out the owner of CanadaDrugs.com for the other websites that he was running. For example, cheapodrugs.com, englanddrugstore.com, africadrugs.com, indiaprescriptions.com, newzealandpharmacy.com, scottishdrugs.com, and petdrugs.ca. That's just the tip of the iceberg. They listed all of the web pages like these. This is going to take some time. There's more than 1,800 of them. And all of these web pages point to the same guy, the same outfit, CanadaDrugs.com. I would like you to consider the following two scenarios. Scenario number 1, I can sell you cheap drugs from Canada. Now scenario number 2. Psst, yo, buddy, over here. Want to buy some Viagra? It's the real deal. Just fell off the truck. You can trust me, I'm Canadian. I submit to you now that those scenarios are equivalent. They're one and the same. The only difference is, in the first scenario, the guy happens to be hiding behind a computer screen. My friends, if you would like to buy cheap drugs from Canada, beware. In many cases, these drugs have been manufactured without any quality control. In many cases, these drugs have been manufactured under conditions that are nowhere near sterile. In many cases, these drugs don't even originate in Canada. We have discovered that some of these have been put into pill form in a dirt hut somewhere in a third world country. And sometimes the guy who's putting together can't get his hands on the actual drug product, so he'll use whatever happens to be handy. Brick dust, dandruff, rat poison. All of these things have happened. Remember, someone who is going to knowingly sell a hopeful cancer patient a counterfeit and useless drug is going to put anything on the label they can to get you to buy it. So just because they say that they are approved and honest and Canadian, don't necessarily believe it. Remember, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration was put in place to protect the American consumer from people just like that.